Welcome back, friends. Okay, I need to talk about something that half of you are going to roll your eyes at, and the other half are going to send me a DM saying, "Thank you, finally." Mercury retrograde. Now, before you click away, hear me out. Just give me a few minutes. Because I'm not here to tell you that Mercury personally hates you and that's why you sent that embarrassing text to your ex. That is not how any of this works. But I am going to tell you why even people who don't believe in astrology keep accidentally noticing it. And maybe, just maybe, by the end of this video, you'll understand why. Last week, I was editing my video for you guys, and my computer started acting like it was possessed. Slowdowns, glitches, the kind of thing that makes you want to throw it out a window. I turned to my partner and said, half joking, "Did Mercury go retrograde?" A quick Google search, and yeah, it had, the day before. Now, is that a coincidence? Maybe. Probably even. But it's the kind of coincidence that keeps happening over and over until you start to wonder, what actually is Mercury retrograde? And why does everybody lose their goddamn minds about it? Let's find out. Okay, science first. Because yes, there is actual science here, and that's important. Mercury retrograde is an optical illusion. Mercury isn't actually moving backwards. What's happening is that Mercury, which orbits the sun way faster than we do, occasionally laps Earth on the inside track. When that happens, from our vantage point on Earth, Mercury appears to slow down, stop, and then move backward across the sky. Think of it like passing a slow car on the highway. For a moment, the other car looks like it's going backwards, but it's not. You're just moving faster. So, is it real? Astronomically speaking, yes. Mercury retrograde is a completely real, predictable, observable phenomenon. It happens about 3 times a year, lasting roughly 3 weeks each time. In 2026, for example, we have 3 retrogrades. We are currently in one right now until March 20th, and then again from June 29th through July 23rd, and one more, October 24th through November 13th. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and where the skeptics in the room start shifting uncomfortably. In astrology, which has been practiced in various forms across virtually every ancient culture on the planet, Mercury is a planet associated with communication, technology, travel, and intellect. It rules the signs Gemini and Virgo. And when Mercury appears to go backward, those things, well, they get weird. I know what you're thinking. This is confirmation bias. People just look for signs of Mercury retrograde once they know it's happening. And honestly, that's a fair point. That's a very fair point. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. Here's the thing, though. Confirmation bias cuts both ways. If you're already convinced Mercury retrograde is nonsense, you'll dismiss every glitch and miscommunication that happens during those 3 weeks without a second thought. Neither side is operating from perfect objectivity here. What I can tell you is this. The framework of Mercury retrograde is useful, even if you're 100% secular about it. And here's why. The period of Mercury retrograde asks you, almost forces you, to slow down, to re-examine, to revisit. Notice all those words. Reconnect, reconsider, restructure, redo. These are genuinely valuable things to do periodically, and Mercury retrograde gives you a built-in cultural calendar for doing them. Think of it like a scheduled maintenance window. Whether or not you believe Mercury is casting some cosmic spell, having a recurring, culturally recognized period where you check in on your communication style, back up your data, and avoid starting major new projects, that's just smart. I once told my boss, who is very much not an astrology person, the sales were slow and weak because Mercury was retrograde. He looked at me like I had sprouted a second head. That week, scheduled meetings fell through. Buyers, who are usually great about communicating, were taking an unexpected day or 2 off. Deliveries did not go according to plan. This was back when I was selling beer. My boss did not become a believer, but he did say, what a weird week. That, my friends, is Mercury retrograde. So, what does Mercury retrograde actually look like in your day-to-day life? Here's what I've noticed, and what a lot of people in the astrology community talk about consistently. Technology acting up. Computers, phones, apps. Your Instagram reach randomly tanks. Videos won't export. Your Wi-Fi decides to take a personal day. Mercury rules technology, and during retrograde, tech becomes temperamental. Communication breakdowns. Texts that get delivered but never seen. Emails that go to spam. Conversations where you say one thing and the other person hears something entirely different. Misunderstandings that feel like they came out of nowhere. My advice during retrograde, be obsessively clear in your communication. Over-explain. Follow up. Don't assume. That's just general great advice, period, but especially during Mercury retrograde. Travel chaos. Delays. Missed connections. That trip where everything goes wrong. Retrograde and travel are not good friends. Here's one we're all going to talk about. Exes showing up. Look, I don't make the rules here, but Mercury retrograde has a reputation for bringing people from your past back into your orbit. Old friends, old flames, old grudges. Whether or not you believe in the astrology, use it as a cue. Think carefully before opening old doors. General fogginess. Is that perimenopause? Or is it Mercury retrograde? Decision making feels harder. Thinking feels slower. You read the same paragraph 3 times and you still don't absorb it. You feel, in a word, muffled. Like you're trying to yell and it keeps coming out as a whisper. I mean, it's okay because we're all screaming into our pillows right now anyway, right? Collectively. Okay, so now that you know what Mercury retrograde is and what to expect, how do you actually get through it without losing your mind? The golden rule of Mercury retrograde, lean into the re's. Anything that starts with re is fair game. In fact, it's even encouraged. Revisit. That project you put on the back burner, dust it off. Mercury retrograde is perfect for revisiting old work, old ideas, and old plans. The backward energy actually supports this. Reflect. Journaling, therapy, long walks where you process your thoughts. All of this is well suited to retrograde energy. It's a natural time for introspection. Reconnect. Reach out to someone you've been meaning to catch up with. Not your ex, a friend, a mentor, a family member you've drifted from. The retrograde is actually good for renewing existing connections. Renovate and redo. Redecorate your space. Redo a stale room in your house. Go through your closet. I did a full kitchen renovation during Mercury retrograde last winter, and I'm genuinely obsessed with how it turned out. Review before you sign. If you can avoid it, don't sign major contracts or make huge financial decisions during Mercury retrograde. If you can't avoid it, read everything twice and then read it again. And then have someone else read it. Back up your stuff. Seriously, just back up your computer. Ideally, you will have done this before Mercury went retrograde. But if you didn't, now is the time. Thank me later. What you want to avoid during retrograde. Launching major new projects, making impulsive big decisions, starting new relationships from scratch, and assuming that everyone understands what you meant. The retrograde is a time to consolidate, not expand. A time to look inward, not outward. Here's what I want to leave you with. You don't have to believe that the planets are pulling cosmic strings to find Mercury retrograde useful. You can be a complete skeptic and still benefit from what this framework offers. A built-in reminder 3 times a year to slow down, reflect, check in on your communication, back up your tech, and revisit what you've been putting off. Whether Mercury retrograde is a mystical phenomenon or just an elaborate ancient productivity hack, it works. And sometimes that's enough. We're in a retrograde right now through March 20th. So if things feel a little sideways this week, now you know why. Or you know why-ish. Or you at least have a fun thing to blame it on. If this video helped you understand Mercury retrograde even a little bit, or if you're still a skeptic but appreciated the ride, please hit that like button. It really does help out. And it tells the algorithm that humans enjoyed this. And the algorithm itself is currently experiencing Mercury retrograde. Last week we talked about the Fearless 26 collection. It is now live, and I will link it below. In case you need something, a little extra to get you through this retrograde period. Next week we're diving into, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. If Mercury retrograde is getting you down, go drink some water, touch some grass. And if your phone is acting up right now, you know what to do. As always, every accusation is a confession. Free Palestine. Protect the First Amendment. Justice for Casey Goodson Jr. And do not let up on the Epstein files. We've only seen about half of them. And while they're horrific, survivors deserve both accountability and justice. Until next week.